Hello everyone, I hope you all are doing well. Let me introduce myself. I'm Omkar Shinde, your host for this particular interview. I want to welcome you all to the ninth episode of interview series brought to you by Industry Inspire Talk. Talking about interview series, it is a series where we invite people who have interned at companies and converted that internship opportunity into a full-time offer. Our guest for today's interview is Akshay Anand. He interned with Redbus for 6 months and also got a pre-placement offer from them. So the whole interview is all going to be about Akshay's journey as a student to participating in a lot of competitive coding competitions, building projects in college, contributing to the college, being part of technical clubs, to getting that internship opportunity to work for Redbus, and finally getting placed as a full-time software engineer for them. So the whole video is going to be interesting. Make sure to stick around. I hope that you learn something out of this video, which will help you in your specific career as well. So without wasting further time, let's proceed towards the interview. Hello Akshay and welcome to the ninth episode of interview series brought to you by Industry Inspire Talk. How are you feeling right now?
I'm pretty excited for this interview. It's like my first interview that I'm facing regarding my internship experience. So I'm really excited how this goes.
That's wonderful. So I'm also excited as well. I am on the same level as you are. I'm also excited to know more about you, to know about the things which you have been doing, and all these amazing stuff you have been doing, and you are also going to share with our audience today. And I'm very much glad you are here on this platform, and it's a pleasure to have you. Okay, so let's get started with the interview. I want to ask you firstly, tell me something about yourself. Let our audience know what you are doing at the beginning.
Yeah, so basically, I'm Akshay Anand and I pursued my B from GSS Science and Technology University. And my hobbies generally include like competitive coding. I love coding. And apart from the coding stuff, I love traveling. I love going to new places, seeing new places. I like trekking. So those are like one of a few of the things that I love doing. Going out, you can never have me stay in. Okay, I am a person who has to go out. So I love coding. I love going out. This is basically two of my traits, personality traits, which are like very prominent.
That's great. Okay, so now that our audience knows about what you're doing, let's proceed towards the part where I ask you about the college. Okay, so you told me you are from JSS Science and Technology University. Can you describe
Yeah,
your college life? How was your college life?
yeah, yeah. So my college life is I got involved in a lot of things. To be honest, it wasn't just my academics or something. It was like a roller coaster ride. To be honest, for the initial couple of years, like 1.5 years, I was just chilling around, going to new places, hanging out with friends and all. Later I started coding a little, working like towards building my profile, building my career. At the same time, I used to go out, enjoy. Then I got in touch with different technical clubs in the college, got to know seniors, took their help, worked a little on the management side as well because I wanted not to just be technical, but also I wanted to have some opportunity of leadership. Like if I get such an opportunity, I wanted to grab that. So I did some things on that side as well, on the organizational level. So I did those things. Again, went out, did those stuff. Like that is basically how my college life went. It was fun, but yeah, it was. I got to learn a lot because of my my friend circle, the faculties. There are a few of them who were really good at guiding us. So it was an overall really good experience for me.
That's amazing, and thanks for sharing that experience with us. Okay, so now you pursued computer science and engineering from that college. So I want to ask you, can you describe your passion towards computer science? What does computer science mean to you?
Basically, computer science. My computer science was a passion since childhood. Okay, there are few people who get into engineering because they think like, okay, they don't know what to do, they do engineering. Okay, and a lot of them take computer science because just they got a good rank. Okay, but I was like someone who loved computer science since childhood. Okay, so I got my first computer in when I was in class 7. Okay, and since then we had some subjects in our school also which taught us like very variety of stuff. Okay, so in class 8 we had something like HTML CSS, which is like you're just in class 8 and you're like learning web development. So that gave me like a small interest, like okay, this is how things work. Then we had something like Flash MX, which where I could learn animation. Okay, but these were the initial things that I liked. And I started exploring. Okay, like when they taught us also something like web development, they did not. They obviously touched just the like grazed the surface. Okay, but I used to buy books of my own, take it from the library, and like read, learn, try to develop my own things. Okay, so that is what I used to do. I went to class 11th and 12th, and then I started learning. I took computer science and I learned databases. I learned Java. So I had a coding background, and I was very sure about what I wanted to. I was very sure. I was like, I don't care about the college. It's computer science that I want to pursue. So that was something that I had very clear since my beginning, since the beginning of my career. So that helped me have a lot of clarity when I was shaping it, because I was not any point of time in my life was I confused that what do I want to do after this. I knew this is what I want. Wherever I get it, I'll do it from there. I know I'm good at it, and I'll just pursue it. So that is how I got my interest in computer science.
That's wonderful, and that is really nice. You developed the passion for computer science from childhood. So I've seen a lot of people just pursue computer science because of its name. Okay, so they do it just for the name. They're not at all interested into computer science. They have some interest, okay, because they are into computers. They like to play with computers, but not like computer science means the technical part involves the coding as well. Okay, and some people what they do is they don't find love in coding, then they go to some marketing and all kind of branches because they don't have that interest in computer science. They just followed computer science, took that as a subject because they had that interest, but they were not willing to work towards it or not willing to learn it by itself. Yeah, for example, you said you did coding, you developed projects. So these are the things you should do because in order to improve that skill, you need to work hard towards it. Okay, and everything comes at a price. Okay, so every opportunity you get, everything you get it. So you get it because you have worked hard for it, and that is great. That is a great thing that you shifted your love towards computer science and you actually pursued it because you had interest. You wanted to make a career in that. Okay, and that is very much inspiring. Yeah. So now you told me that you were like into coding, competitive coding. I want to ask you, which is your favorite programming language? And if you tell me that programming language, I want to ask you why you love that programming language.
Okay, so this is a question I was like expecting, and I like this question. Okay, so many people ask me this, that which language do you code in, and like my juniors ask me what language should I learn. So I don't know a lot of languages. Like I know C, C++, Python is what I like mainly like code in. I know a bit of Java. Right now I'm learning Golang for what I'm working at in my office. Learned a bit of Octave and a few other things, JavaScript. But to be honest, if you do competitive coding, right, you need to appreciate the intricate details of a language. Okay, because maybe Python is very easy. Okay, but there is something that C++, Java have which Python doesn't, and that is speed. Okay, you cannot directly jump to Python. So I appreciate C++ as a language a lot. If you know the use of standard template library, it's used a lot in competitive coding. If you refer to any online competitive coding websites like HackerRank, HackerEarth, you can see the community is so big. Like it's like for C++ and Java, it's like huge. Okay, so those two languages that are used a lot. So I basically personally like C++ a lot. But now when it comes to love, like which language do I love the most? So just being biased to C++ won't be fair because I have worked a lot on Python. So every language has its limitations, right? So the limitation of C++ is that it's difficult to use it when it comes to like machine learning, which is where my work was mainly focused in, where all my projects have been focused in. So I use Python a lot in that. So Python is an easy language and it helps you a lot with development of like this machine learning models and all. So Python is obviously my second favorite. But C++ actually, if you're a competitive coder, you have to love C++. That's a beautiful language to know. You code in it, you actually understand the small details, how things work. So C++ is obviously the best. Python is also a really good language to work on machine learning, data science, data engineering. So it's a fab language, to be honest. Yeah, but C++ is obviously like, it rules. You cannot.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that because it would really help the people who are going into competitive coding or starting with coding languages basically. So it's like you should start always with the basics, and C++ is like the basic thing of. That's the reason why we call it as a structural programming language, and that's the reason why one should learn that. And once he is skilled in C++, he can go to other languages just like Java or Python, and that is easily achievable because he knows the basics of it. Okay, so that's great. So you know a lot about coding languages. You were into competitive coding. So I want to ask you, did you build any technical projects in your engineering career?
Yeah, I actually in the first 1.5 years I was just lazing around, chilling, enjoying life, like meeting new people. But yeah, at the same time, I did not build projects. I was a part of few different technical things, but projects I started building from my fourth semester. The first 3 semesters I wasted like anything. Not wasted. That was a completely another kind of experience which helped me grow as a person. And after fourth semester, I started focusing more on my profile about how should I build my career. So I started with my technical projects from my fourth semester. And basically, my first project was an IoT-based project, which it was like a line following bot, which one of my friends just asked me, like, why don't you just try this for a start? So it was IEEE, basically IEEE organized a session, a workshop on robotics. So I attended that. Then there was a competition for which I built a line following bot along with two teammates. Okay, and it gave me a start. At the same time, I started with machine learning because since I was in a technical club, a part of technical club. So all my seniors had worked on machine learning. So I had a lot of guidance towards machine learning and data science. Okay, so they helped me. Like they organized a session as well. So I learned that as well, and I started building projects. So projects I started small. Okay, it was basically initially like taking a data set and building some machine learning model for it. Okay, and initially I used to like build use not use scikit-learn, use hard coded stuff. Like I used to code it on my own properly using NumPy and pandas rather than straight away using scikit-learn. This is how basically I started. Other than that, the big projects, like I recently for my final year project, it was a team. So we developed a product which helps that provides you the facilities of online shopping in a physical shopping mall. So like why people are shifting to online shopping, the main reason is that you get like different benefits like recommendations, and everything is available at your fingertips, right? So we developed a product that enables you to have those things at a physical shopping mart along with automated billing and things like that. So that is where I used the front end was Android, the back end was machine learning. It was alternating least squares, a priori, and a bunch of different algorithms running on that. And since it was a product, so even though the technical aspects weren't that difficult, it was actually difficult, but there was a product aspect also, the business aspect. Like it should be logical. What I'm doing should make sense, should sell. Okay, so that was my final project. So that was one of the projects. Then another project I did with Python. So basically, I told it I worked a lot on Python. So I worked on another project with the CTA, Industrial Management Department of our college, to develop a software for doing some algorithms, for doing some calculations. So that entire thing was built in Python, the front end and back end as well. And other than that, basically, I was doing a lot of back end work, Python. It was basically, I used to pick up any data set on Kaggle, whichever I liked, and I used to just train it, run models. Those things are what I used to do. Did some DBMS projects, wrote the back end of it basically in Node.js. Other than that, like I did not have much experience working on front end. I was never a front end developer. I cannot call myself that. So I'm basically a person who loves machine learning, data science, neural networks. I even did a project on reinforcement learning that trains a game, like the Snake game. So basically, I teach the model teaches the game to play itself. It starts with getting out at like within seconds, and it in the final, after 2000 iterations, maybe it is running till 50 level. So those are things I tried to build. So that was what my basically projects I did overall.
That's outstanding, because you have done a lot of projects, and that too focusing on the back end, working alongside Python because you love Python, and that's really amazing. This nice, and thanks for sharing that experience. Okay, so now I would like to go to the coding competitions part. Did you participate in any coding competitions in your engineering career?
Yeah, I participated in a hell lot of coding competitions in my college. I did not participate outside a lot, okay, because I was busy with projects and all. And I used to participate a lot in my college since first year, because we had a lot of seniors, and they used to inspire us and like motivate us that you should start coding. And since I was from a coding background already, so it was a lot more easier for me, because there are a lot of people who come from non-coding background, it's actually difficult for them to learn it. But for me, since I had an exposure to all the tech side previously only, so I used to participate in a lot of coding competitions. First year, it was like I was a kid back then, so basically I couldn't win. But second year, yeah, I started getting good. I started winning, and like till third year, I was winning. Fourth year, basically, I became the head of that club, so I could not
Wow.
participate anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's amazing. So now that you told me that you were part of a lot of coding competitions, I want to ask you, can you share your experiences regarding that? I want to hear what coding competitions you were part of and how did you make an impact?
Okay, so coding competitions basically like they evolve around your problem solving skills. Okay, so what you mainly need to focus is how can you come up with a solution for a problem at that spot, and what it helps you is time management and handling stress, because you see everybody who is very good sitting beside you coding the same question, and that is a lot of stress, that to beat the clock and to be on the top. Okay, so that is something I really learned there. Like so many different kinds of competitions, like there used to be competitions where we were having the output and we had to trace the, like we would have the output and we would not know what the program is, and we would give different types of input, see the output, understand the logic, code that logic reverse. So those are the things like made your mind open up in many different ways. Okay, that is just one of those. Then there were competitions like blind coding. There were competitions where there were teams and then you had to switch systems every 3 minutes, and all three of them had three different questions and you had to code on somebody else's code. So that gave you an experience of things that you might face in industry, like working on somebody else's code. So how to understand, so that helps you understand how important it is to have a good coding standard, how important it is to have a clean code, the value of code structuring, it should be refactored properly. So those things are where it helps. Plus it also opens up obviously your mind in so many different ways. It's amazing.
That's nice. And I want to now come to the competitive coding part. Okay, so I want to ask you, do you love competitive coding?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
absolutely.
great. Yeah, so if it is a yes, I want you to describe why do you love it?
Okay, so basically there are two things. Okay, when it comes to shaping a career, right? Okay, or like getting placed or anything like that, there are two ways you can get placed. Okay, one is from your coding, the other one is your projects. As simple as that. Okay, so I had sufficient projects on my resume. Okay, and I started my competitive coding quite late. Okay, I used to do in the competitions. Okay, but other than that, I never used to code. Okay, I used to just code in the competition. Then after 6 months again I'll code in some competition. That's all I used to do. But I realized that okay, for before my placements I was like, okay, I have the projects on my resume, but I need to work on my coding. So I started coding, and I knew I was good at it because I was winning a lot of competitions in college, but I never really gave time to it. But it gave me a whole new way of like exploring. Okay, it's so deep, it's so good, like it opens your mind in so many ways that you actually start appreciating every small algorithm, how it works. And it actually, and somebody who loves coding will actually like want, if you might skip meals for doing it. Okay, it's so much obsessing sometimes. Okay, so I love competitive coding. It's just a fabulous thing to do. I started coding like in my third year, basically like competitive coding in serious way. So used to code on HackerRank platform, and basically I used to code in C++. Later I started coding on Python and C++ both, and I did data structures and algorithms. Is what I used to focus on. So when I was at like, I used to code very much. Then my HackerRank rank was like around 6K internationally on algorithms, and now it's dropped down because I've not been able to code after I started working, and I've been using some other platforms right now. But that like I used to use HackerRank. It really gives you that motivation to code, and it really wants you to do it. If you have that love for coding, it's a really good platform. And even other platforms that sign, like when all the test cases get approved, that is a satisfaction that cannot be described in words, because it has happened that you spend an entire day on just one very difficult question, and when it passes all the test cases, it's a fabulous feeling. So
only the
competitive
only the
coding is
coder
just,
can understand that feeling. I'm saying only the coder can understand that feeling. the hours of hard work he's putting in cracking that problem statement, and finally all the test cases are passed, and whoa, you just made it. So it is like a, what you can say, a satisfaction, a like feeling of an achievement for the person who is doing it, and that's really nice. One should practice a lot. Okay, so coding is not like you are just like in the earlier stages we used to solve like easier problem statements like mathematics. Okay, then we later went to 11th 12th standard where we were into a lot more into what you can say algebra and geometry, where we discovered a lot into like we went one step ahead of the maths we were doing like in SSC. And then when you come into engineering, you get to like learn the real world implementation of that specific math behind the tech, and that is really a good thing. And you were very much passionate about things, and you like to like what you can say in first year, even if you didn't make it to the coding competition, you had the fire inside you to crack that coding competition, to stood first, and you had a very hardworking nature, and that is what put you one step ahead, and it used to give you opportunities. You used to win a lot of coding competitions, and finally like getting placed in Red Bus was a like a amazing thing which you did. Okay, so now I'll come to the experience part. So you told me you were a part of technical clubs on your college. So I want to ask you, describe your experience working for Linux Campus Club for 3+ years.
So basically, Linux Campus Club is what I got to know when I entered college. Okay, so we had a lot of seniors in different clubs. So this was the first club I interacted with, and I had a lot of seniors in this club. So it basically helped me. This is the club that organized tech fests and a lot of different technical events, which I used to attend. And tech fests had a part of where there were different coding competitions. Okay, so that is how I started with, and that is I used to participate. Along with that, I used to also volunteer for different activities which were in technical also, because in first year you cannot really contribute a lot technically. There are people who are technical coordinators and tech leads who do that. So I used to volunteer I used to volunteer in non-technical things like decorations and like building designing posters, then putting up posters, then going for announcements, publicity. Those are things I started with started at the club. And second year I basically like went in more, like started participating more in competitions, started taking it more seriously, and started doing things on the organizational part, management side a bit. And third year is where I just went all in. I was handling I took some technical sessions for the students. Apart from that, I also took did some announcements, did some projects. Third year is when I actually did projects with the club, because the club gave us opportunity. They gave us data sets, they gave us opportunity to do project with them. So I started doing that. And then at the same time I was handling the management side also, like trying to involve myself on those tasks, like taking a lead, assigning tasks, getting things done, like be it like getting even the club t-shirts printed, okay, even those things. Then everything I was trying to be a part as a whole, because I always wanted to be like, I know I wanted to be technically good, but also I always loved to be a leader rather than being a follower. So I wanted to be that person. So I always endeavored to be that person too. So that is what I was doing. And in my final year, I became the head of the club. Okay. So that is when since I was technically good, I was also helping my team tech-wise, because I could understand what are the situations that a tech lead and the technical coordinators faced. Okay. And at the same time, I was also handling the management side. We organized a national level fest, which is it was a hackathon called Hacker Lead. So different students, different teams participated from all around the country. So that took like 4 months of vigorous hard work. We were like on the night of the hackathon, we remember we did not go back to our rooms back to sleep. Like one night before the hackathon, it was starting at 7 a.m. the next day. We were in the college the entire night working, and then we slept for an hour or so in the college, only in the building. And it was like that. It was a fun experience, to be honest. Got to meet so many new people, so many different kinds of people to work with, so many different kinds of minds to work with, to see like as a person, I see how mind works, right? But when you are in a club, the club was of 32 people, okay, and you get to know 31 more people, how their minds are working, and you know how to handle people, how to handle pressure. Those are the things that you learn only out of experience. So that is what I wanted. That so I basically wanted that. I worked towards it. I got it, and I'm so glad that I got that opportunity. So I have something on the tech side also. I had something on the management side also. It helped me know a lot of people. Everybody in the department knew me. All the faculties and all, even the principal knew me because I was the head, obviously, and I was handling so many things. I organized the not I. It would be wrong to say I. We organized the biggest fest of our college till date, technical fest of our college. So that is a big achievement for us, the hackathon. So it was a really good experience. It helped me to know a lot of seniors whom I'm in touch with even now. Like they are so helpful. Even if I have a doubt, even now I can just ping them, call them. They are always there to help. They're all in like big companies all over the spread over the globe. So Linux Campus Club has given me a lot, to be honest, and it's it's I cannot measure that value. Okay, it's that great.
That's wonderful. Thanks for sharing that experience. So it's okay. So I also was working in my e-cell as a, what you can say, an incubate. Okay, and then I worked hard for like 1 year. I led 5+ startups. Okay, so I helped them grow. Basically, I was a mentor for them. I was just in my second year when I joined this thing, and I like worked for them. So it's okay. Like that organization made me what I am today. And Linux Foundation, Linux Campus Club, that organization or your college, they what you say, they nurtured you from the initial stages and they made you a leader basically. So they made you what you wanted to become. Okay, and that took 3 years of time. You did a lot of things for the organization, and in return you got the lead position, and you were like lot of into technical activities. You were also in academics, but you also were in the technical side, plus you were learning management, and that management and technical experience will help you right now, and you must be experiencing it as well, because when you are working in a company, you have to have the technical knowledge, plus you have to have general management skills, just like leadership, public speaking, and interacting with the employees, being an extrovert, and or like completing task and deadline. So that are the things which you learn from that organization, and which you are implementing them in your career as well. So those things don't go away. They help you someday or the other, and that's a good thing. Okay, and then I want to go over to the next experience. I want to ask you, describe your experience as a member for Youth Hostels Association of India for 1+ year.
Youth hostel was, to be honest, it was something I did in my third year. Okay, I started late with it. I wasn't aware of it a lot. Okay, and my friends told me about it, and I was like, oh, there's something like that. Why don't we just try it out? Okay, so we tried it out. It is basically a group of enthusiasts, and like my college was in Mysore, right? So they have branches all over the country. So I was in the Mysore branch. Okay, so we went on different treks, different places. There were photography exhibitions. There were like just meetings where like we used to meet and talk, and there were two-day treks, and then there were like so many different treks that we went on. Okay, to be honest, and that is the youth hostel actually made me find my love for trekking. My first trek was with youth hostel, and it was, to be honest, so inspiring. The head of that club in Mysore unit was a lady who is 70+ years of age, and that lady for the last 30 years every year has gone to Himalayas for trekking. And
Wow.
it is so it is so inspiring that somebody so old, and we were so tired, and she was so literally so fit. Okay, and I felt like, okay, that gives you motivation, right? Okay, if somebody so old is able to do it, then even you can do it. That always like made me feel that no, there is like I need to do better, because somebody is like pushing their limits so much at that age. So just telling to myself that no, I won't be able to do is just like an excuse. Anybody can do it. You just need to work for it. So that is what I learned a lot from youth hostel. It made me interact with a lot of people of different age groups. Like the treks we used to go on, there were kids from like 12, 13 years of age. There were people even of 70 years of age. So a very diverse age group, very different kind of people, and it was a whole lot of fun. So youth hostel is really like taught me a lot of things about life, not just academics, nothing related to academics. It taught me about life. to be honest.
That's wonderful. And yeah, so that is what I'm saying. You also did the technical stuff. You were on college. You did a lot of things in your engineering career. Like
Yeah.
these are the things you did on in the 4 years of engineering, and that is a lot. You did a lot of community contributions, like being a part of organizations, exploring new places, following your hobby, going on treks. Okay, so you enjoyed the 4 years of engineering, and it were the best 4 years of engineering for you, and before getting into the industry, and that is really amazing. That what you have just shared. Okay, so now I till your all the things which you shared, it is really inspiring, and I think that the people who are watching the video will be inspired, motivated with all these things you told me in this interview. So that is very nice. So I would like to go to the main part of the interview. I want to ask you about the Redbus experience basically, and now it is going to be interesting. Okay, so now I'll start with the Redbus thing. Okay, so I'll ask, did you ever thought you could get into Redbus?
Straight answer, no. To be honest, no. Like
Okay,
Redbus as a company never visited our college campus. Okay, so and generally there are not a lot of product-based companies that were originated from India. Okay, there are a lot of product-based companies that are global multinational companies. Okay, but Redbus is one of those very successful startups that grew out of India, and it is a very successful product-based company. So Redbus never came to our campus. Okay, so to be honest, never expected a company like Redbus because it is a part of GoMMT Group, which GoMMT Group has Make My Trip, GoIbibo, and Redbus. So a company that big to visit our campus, it was something new. So I honestly never knew like I would get into it. But when I got to know that this company is visiting the campus, I was, to be honest, I was really excited.
that's great. Okay, so now I want to ask you about the internship opportunity. How did you get this internship opportunity to work for Redbus?
It was, as I said, it was a campus placement offer. Like the fourth year started in the beginning of fourth year, the company started visiting the campus. So I was very picky about the companies I sat in because I knew what I want. I told you, right? I was very clear about the things that I wanted. I wanted to be a software development engineer only, not a QA engineer, not an analyst. The profile should be purely software related, no hardware, no networks. I was very clear about these things. Okay,
So
so
yeah, you had
I
a
was
so you had a very what you can say, you had a good vision and you had a clear goal basically from the start, and that is great. Okay, so this is about how you got this opportunity as a on campus offer. Okay, so I want to ask you, how did you crack the interview? Can you share your interview experience? What rounds did you go through and everything?
okay. So the interview experience was basically Redbus shortlisted around 29 or 30 people. Okay, for the interviews after the first round, which was coding and apti both, and it was compulsory that you need to code at least one question because it was a development role. Even if you got all the aptitude questions correct, they won't shortlist you if you don't have one complete coding question. So they shortlisted around 30 people, and there were two different things that were important. Redbus as a company has very less engineers. Okay, it has a very small engineering team, so they are very picky, and just because they have very less engineers, like a very small team, it's very important that there's proper communication between them for the company to work good. So they also, that was the reason they had a group discussion round. Along with that, they had two technical rounds and one HR round. So my group discussion round was like it went really good. And my first technical was exploring the basics, focused on databases, a bit of dynamic programming, and data structures. Good questions were asked, to be honest. Like, they were really good questions, and I tried to make an impression in my initial stage only. Like, whenever I was asked to write a pseudo code, I tried to write the perfect code at that point, so that is the way you impress the interviewer, right? You have a good impression that okay, this person can actually write code. And when the interviewer just asked me to give an approach, I tried to write a pseudo code of a difficult question. So those are the ways that I went through my first technical interview. Second technical interview was focused completely on graphs, and the question was pretty tough. There were just two questions asked, okay, and one was basic, the other one was really difficult, to be honest. But it took me like around 25 minutes to code it. It was 3 pages of code, and I coded that, and it was pen and paper because it was an interview. So I did that, and the interview was impressed with that. And as soon as I came out of my second technical interview, within a minute I was called for my HR round, and I was the first person to be called in the HR. And the HR also went pretty smooth. They asked me about different things, about my family, about my background, about what I did in my engineering, my future plans, everything. As a overall, it was a good communication. It was more like a friendly talk, like, and all, but it was very professional at the same time. It was and they told about the company, they like, and that made me more interested in that. They had a very good presentation also in the beginning of the placement, which actually like wanted me to be in that company a lot more. So that was basically an overview of how my interview went.
That's amazing. Okay, so now that you cracked the interview, I want to ask you, once you were selected, I want to know your internship experience basically. So that internship experience you have to share about the project you are working on, then your what you can say, which team you are part of, and where were you located?
Okay, so I'll start with the last question first. I was located in Bangalore, and the office is in Leela Palace in the Old Airport Road. Okay, so that is where my office is located, and the projects and the team. Okay, so this was actually uh, I had a roller coaster ride on this. Okay, so I was initially in the Android team. Okay, and I had no zero background on Android. Okay, I know nothing about Android. So I was in touch with my manager, and there were two people in the Android team in interns. Okay, so he saw that my background is completely machine learning, Python. Those are things that I do. I love mathematics personally, so I loved statistics also. Obviously, if you're in machine learning, you have to love maths. So that was, I loved all those things. So he helped me get a project in another team. So my manager, reporting manager, was the Android manager, but I was working for another team, because Redbus as a company gives you opportunity to explore. They don't restrict you that if you're in this team, you have to work only in this team. So you can work on parallelly in different teams also at the same time. It gives you a lot of opportunities. So I got a project in the YB team, which is a Your Bus team, and that works on the tracking of the bus. So that gave me, for that basically it was like writing Python scripts and all for doing analysis, and that was related to mathematical analysis that actually helped us get insights of the business aspect. Okay, like if a GPS device is working properly, and how's the customer experience, tracking experience. So those are the things I wrote scripts for. I was doing basically back-end work. Along with that, I also built a dashboard for it, where like all these things would be visualized, not just see it as a backend table in Athena or somewhere. It dashboard also, so that helped me learn different things. I was never a web developer, I told you, right? So I was never in a web development, but I learned it for this, and it helped. And because I was interested in it, I did it. So even though I was in the Android team, I worked for another team, and Redbus gave me that opportunity to do all this. Sometimes companies don't, like, you're restricted to the team you are putting, but Redbus gives an opportunity to just like open your wings and do whatever you want.
That's great. So Redbus is a nice company. So they are like in their hiring, they are very much picky, but they make sure that they hire the best. Okay, and that's nice. And they basically nurtured you. You got to learn a lot of new things from this internship, and that is really nice. You got to work in Android, and you went out of the way and you contributed, and that is a good thing. So that showcases how passionate you are in getting into Redbus. Okay, and that is very very motivating and nice. That is inspiring basically. Okay, so now I want to ask you about your roles and responsibilities as the intern for Redbus.
Basically, the roles and responsibilities involved writing codes. I was purely a software developer. There were different interns had different kind of roles, but basically we were all working on the software part. They were, and not on the IoT part or something like that. So it was basically development of software. The languages were different. I also got an opportunity to learn different front-end tools. Also, I got to learn some more scripting languages. I'm right now learning like Golang. So that is what basically the roles involved working on the software part.
Okay, that's nice. So you had an amazing experience at Redbus, isn't it?
Yeah, Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So, if you were given to describe your whole internship experience at Redbus in one word, what would it be?
Nurturing.
Nurturing. Why do you
Yeah.
feel it is nurturing?
Because it actually, Redbus as a company nurtures you a lot. Okay, they understand that you're a fresher. They let you take your own time. You learn at your own pace, and then slowly give you tasks according to you. And at the same time, they will guide you and help you with everything, which is like really great. Even if you get stuck, there's always somebody to help you in. There's always there'll be people to help you out. There'll be people to listen to you. There'll be people who will make sure that you don't go unheard. So all of this like adds on to the wonderful work culture that we have at Redbus. So
Yeah, so
the one
I
word is
yeah,
nurturing.
yeah, nurturing. Yeah, that's great. So, just like you talked about your managers, how they helped you and everything regarding the interview, can you say a few words about the work culture at Redbus, just for the audience?
Okay, so work culture at Redbus is uh, I'll just explain you how the structure works. Okay, so from
Sure.
top to bottom, okay, it's actually hierarchical. Okay, but from bottom to top, it's completely flat. Okay, the CTO of the company, I'll just give an example. The CTO of the
Yeah.
company sits just 2 rows ahead of me on a desk similar as mine. Nobody except the CEO has a cabin. You can just walk to anyone and talk to them and like get help and all. So basically I used to do that. Okay, like if I used to get stuck or sometimes I needed some suggestions or some code review, I just used to walk to the VP engineering or the CTO and they used to like give me like some advice and all. So it's very open, since it's very established, but the culture is like a startup, so it's everything's very open. Okay, so that is what I love about Redbus. Like the hierarchy from bottom to top is very flat. You can just walk up to anyone, talk to anyone, they'll always help you out. No matter if they know you or not, they are always ready to help.
That's marvelous, and that's really nice. Okay, so that Redbus is a good company, and from your point of perspective, it's what I feel is it is a very supporting company. It supports its new interns to grow more in life. Okay, so they help you in each and everything. Okay, so they give you advices. Basically, they help you attend meetings. Okay, so they give you a lot of industry experience in those 6 months of internship or whatever may be the tenure of the internship. You get to learn a lot of new things, go out of the way, do things which you love. Okay, so you in your way, in your journey, you explored the Android team. Okay, so you are part of Android team. So those are the things like Redbus has to offer, and that's really nice. Okay, that's great. So let's go to the next question. I want to ask you, what skills did you learn from this entire internship experience which you didn't have like before getting into this internship?
Okay, so basically I learned front-end development, HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, JavaScript. I learned Flask, and these are the basically what I learned. But Python I knew from before, but I learned a lot of new things in Python which I never knew before. A lot of libraries, because Redbus, it's everybody knows what Redbus is. It's a bus ticketing platform. So there's so many different packages that you work with for maps, then for times and like date time, and like there's so many things to learn in Python. Okay, one can never learn a language completely, right? There's always something to learn. So I learned a lot in Python, then I learned front end development. So these are the basically the things I learned. Backend wise, I learned Flask, which is a Python framework, and right now I'm learning Golang, so for scripting purpose. And I had a little of exposure of little bit exposure to PHP as well. So these are things that I learned in a very short span of time in internship.
Yeah, so just like you said, you had a roller coaster ride. So by that, what you mean is you got to learn a lot of new things which you didn't learn in college. Okay, so that was something new. It was like a new experience for you, and that's really nice. Okay, so now I want to go to the last question and then we wrap up. Okay, so I want to ask you, do you want to give some tips or advice to the future aspirants for looking to crack that SD role at Redbus?
Okay, so the funda is very simple. Okay, work on your basics. Okay, my interview might sound like I have worked a lot on machine learning, neural networks, and all, but I also made it clear I worked a lot on competitive coding. So get your basics right. Get your data structures, algorithms very good. Get your databases very good, because those are the basics that you'll need to build on. Because even if you move to industry, You might learn a new lot of tech, okay, but everything in the end revolves around your basics. If your basics are not good, you are always going to struggle. So focus on your basics. Algorithms is very important. Problem solving skills are very important. Focus on that. Try to be very clear about what you want. Stop being confused. Give some time, maybe a week, decide what you want. That will actually help you shape your career in a very good way. Because I was clear about what I wanted, it was easy for me to decide on which companies I sit for in placement and what companies should I skip rather than sitting for all the companies. The Redbus was the 20th company in my campus, and I sat only in 2 companies before it. So I had skipped like 17, 18 companies. So it helps you get a clear picture of what you want, and only when you know what you want and you land into that, only then you can do well in that field. Unless you're not interested to do it, you won't be able to grow even when you land a good job. So, and for that you need to have your basics very good. So work on your basics. 4 years graduation revolves around your basics. If your basics are strong, all the big companies, be it Google, Microsoft, Facebook, all of them revolve around your basics. If your basics are not good, you cannot clear them. So focus on your basics always. Once you're done with your basics, which you are basically never done with because there's no limit, after you're done with, you feel like, yeah, you have worked enough, then try to explore the different fields where you can enhance your skills in, because those are also very important, that you have some extra skill. You can work on development side, you can work on machine learning, data science side. So that's a personal choice. But having a basics right is like a mandatory thing to have as a software developer.
That's a wonderful, I must say, that is a wonderful advice, okay? And that it would really help the audience who is watching this video. And yeah, and with this, I would like to end the interview. And I want to personally thank you for giving your time, coming here and sharing your experiences with our audience. Your experiences or your entire career journey up till now is really inspiring, motivating, and it would really help our audience to achieve more in their careers. And with some good advices also at the end of this interview. So it was amazing talk with you. I got to learn a lot of new things about you as well, and got to know you more as a person, what you are. Okay, before the interview, we didn't knew each other, we were strangers, but right now I know what you do, and that is really inspiring. And I want to thank you. Okay, and for your career at Redbus, for your journey at Redbus, I want to wish you luck. Okay, and you will do really good in life. Okay, because you have good background, good basics, and your most important thing is your vision is clear. You know what you want to do in life, and that is really important. One should have a good vision. His vision should be straight, okay, and he should not like be into a lot of other things. He just needs to focus on what he's doing right now and what he wants to achieve. That's what I feel. Okay, yeah. Thank you a lot.
Thanks a lot, Omkar. Like, I'm really glad that you thought of me to give this opportunity to, because it's my first interview, and I'm really glad that I could help. Even if one person is helped from this video, it would be really good thing, because I know how the problems that as a fresher I faced because I had nobody in the field of computer science in my family. Everybody is in a very different field, so it was very difficult for me to get guidance. But for somebody, if you can gain something from it, it will be really helpful. Try to focus on one thing rather than doing everything at a time, and like be clear. That is all. And thank you, Omkar. Thanks a lot.
That's wonderful. So this is not about the interview. I want to ask you: do you want to give some words of motivation to our audience? Because we need motivation right now. Because you talked a lot of things about yourself, but this journey, the struggle you faced. Okay, so if someone wants to get into Redbus, okay, like what motivation you want to give to them?
If you want to get into Redbus, start coding, because the coding questions were tough, to be honest, and the hit ratio is very less in Redbus. Like, I have talked to my managers, and they were like, the hit ratio is like 1:50. Like, if they interview 50 people, they might take one person. So like, it's very less. It's not so easy. So start working, get your basics clear, and if you want to get motivated, just you can rewind back to the video and the instance when I told that a 70-year-old lady has gone to Himalayas for trekking for last 30 years. So that's sufficient to motivate you. You can do it. Everybody can do it. All is that you need to be passionate about it. If you're passionate about it, nobody can stop you.
Correct.
If you're not passionate
Ev-
about it, you'll definitely have blockers.
Yeah. So everything is possible. Nothing is impossible. You just need to focus a lot of time and your wisdom. Okay. So you have to put yourself into that, what you can say, into that state where you want to achieve that thing, and one day you will surely achieve it. So that's great. And I want to end this video right now. Okay. And if you're watching the video up till now, make sure to like the video, subscribe to this channel. Also reach out to Akshay. I'll mention the links to his social handles in the description box below. So do check it out. Do reach out to him. If you have any questions regarding getting placed in Redbus, if you need any coding assistance, you can reach out to him. I'll mention his social handles. And that's it for today. I'll see you guys in the next episode of interview series with another person from the industry who is there to inspire you. Until then, keep learning, keep inspiring, keep growing. Thank you.